In 2025, radio's role in tackling climate change is more important than ever, offering a platform for conversations that promote environmental sustainability and inspire action. The SABC has 18 radio stations catering for 11 official languages and plays a crucial role in amplifying the voices of communities most affected by climate change, such as rural populations, indigenous people, and those facing environmental disasters who rely on radio for information and advocacy.
I think it's very important to take complex concepts like climate change, and I think within a KwaZulu-Natal perspective, we've been seeing that play out a lot with torrential downpours we've been seeing. To dissect that science, put it into bite-sized pieces of information and disseminate that to the public so that they can learn about the real threats that climate change poses to them. And we've been effectively doing that on radio because you got to do it concise, you got to do it simply, and I think the audience waits for that from us.
And therefore, in terms of our responsibility, we reflect on some of the biggest issues in the world, locally as well as globally. But so far as the issues of climate change is concerned, I think it's critical because we see it daily that how climate change is effectively changing our lives. And if we paid less attention to it before, then we need to pay a lot more attention to it now. Now, I think we're doing so, certainly on my show, in terms of every time there's an issue around climate change and when these world leaders get together around at the various COPs, we certainly reflect that, but that's not all. We have to reflect the physical climate change issues that occur in our country as and when they happen.
By incorporating interviews, community stories, and expert analysis, broadcasters say they can demystify complex environmental issues and encourage practical solutions on climate change. They say radio possesses a distinct ability to shape listeners' perceptions of climate change and is a critical tool in countering false narratives as misinformation spreads.
What I have noticed is there is a lot of work to be done to educate and inform and change, beliefs and ideologies from people that used to be here, used to use old practices where when there is lightning and thunder, you cover your mirrors. Can you imagine trying to remove that? It's not a stigma, it's not a belief, but something that used to work for them, but to try and sort of like match the position that we are in right now. Everybody knows that the weather is like very, very massive. There's great change when it comes to weather patterns. So when we go with departments, especially disaster department, we meet different ladies, especially old mama, try and talk to them and say, okay, now the weather is like this, you need to move with the times.
Our language, a tornado, is Inganyamba. So there is a myth behind that. The old people believe that Inganyamba is a snake, so that the shape of the tornado represents a snake in our culture. So we have to dispel those myths and tell people that there is air that is cold air that is mixing with hot air, so it makes that, and also consulting as well makes it easy for us to explain or to translate our text.
Producers say the scientific jargon can be lost in translation when compiling climate stories in Nguni languages, but that the Pan-South African Language Board is assisting in simplifying difficult terminologies.
Terminology challenge. Climate change is something that is new to us, and then there is not enough terminology for the target audience, from the source text to the target audience. So in many instances we have to paraphrase when you're translating these terms, and then at the back of your mind you're thinking, what if I'm not telling them the exact story? What if I'm not narrating the true reflection of the source text? So it has its challenges.
With its extensive reach, radio fosters media literacy and empowers communities with accurate information.
दिवस के लिए ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं और याद रहे कि रेडियो हमेशा आपका कंपेनियन रहेगा.
Talusuku oluhle umhlaba wonke jikelele. Omathotholo ngabulalela emsakazweni omncane, ingabuvula imbavu yakho kodwa wazi ukuthi sikhona sihlalele nina.
For SABC News, I am Jade Paulser in Durban.